Often it seems impossible to combine a healthy eating with a busy life, but believe me, maintaining a healthy diet does not need to be complicated. Today I will share with you 5 tips and a bonus at the end that will help you start off your journey with the right foot. Let's dive in. The first tip is to improve your food environment, otherwise known as your kitchen. As we've seen in this video, the key is to not rely on motivation or willpower, but rather to reduce any possible difficulty that you may encounter to the minimum. So what you want to do is to fill your kitchen with whole food, preferably rich in fiber, healthy protein and healthy fat, and buy only small amount of salt and sugary snacks. Also, you want to keep the snacks in the back of your pantry where you don't see or reach them as easily. It is perfectly fine to buy frozen and canned food to have them in your pantry for when needed. Just make sure to rinse canned food thoroughly in order to reduce the excess salt that they use as preservative. But as long as they are whole food, they have the same nutritional quality as fresh ingredients and sometimes even more so, and they can save you a ton of cooking time, especially in case of legumes. The second tip is to plan and organize. Planning your weekly menu in advance based on your daily appointment or time constraint can help you decide what to buy and avoid eating the same thing over and over. And especially it avoids the daily discussion about what to eat for dinner. Even better is to have food ready for those days in which you do not have time to cook anything. There are many ways to do that. Depending on your preferences or your current lifestyle situation, you could, for example, decide to prepare all your meals or a few of them in one day and have them ready in the fridge or freezer. Or you could cook in advance a few portions of vegetables, grains and legumes so that during the week you only need to assemble and maybe eat it up. These are probably the 2 options that would save the most time during the week. But if you don't want to spend the whole day cooking during the weekend, that's not a problem. For example, I like to cook a big pot of lentil bolognese ragu or soup and have them ready in the freezer for when I need it. Or you could cook double portions of a dish so that you have leftover for the following days. So really there are endless possibilities, but I strongly suggest you to find the one that works best for you and can help simplify your life. The important thing is that you start making your own food if you don't already. And this is because by cooking your food, you will become more aware of your own diet and will reduce the intake of added salt, sugar and saturated fat. The third tip is to balance your meal. A simple representation of a balanced meal is the healthy eating plate from Harvard University. As you can see, the larger proportion of your meal should be made of vegetables. Then you have approximately equal proportion of grains and healthy proteins, a portion of fruit, healthy oils and water as a drink. At the beginning it can be useful to create your plate as shown in the figure, but of course with time it will be easy to understand the proportions also in a combined meal. And of course we're not here to aim to perfection. This is a guidance to help you create balanced meal the majority of the time. But of course it can happen to have unbalanced meal and there is no problem with that. For example, my meals sometimes don't have enough vegetables or enough proteins. I simply try to eat more of that component in the next meal, but it's not a big deal anyway. The fourth tip is to pay attention to frequency. You may have noticed that especially in the healthy protein group of the healthy eating plate, there are many options available. So to understand with which frequency we should try to consume every food group, a food pyramid is very useful. There are many different food pyramids available and they all share very similar characteristics in terms of frequency of food groups. I decided to show you here the pyramid relative to the Mediterranean diet because it is the dietary pattern with the most recognized health benefits. From what we can see in the food pyramid, it's clear that the most frequent protein source should be legumes. So anything like chickpeas, beans, legumes, peas, soy and soy products, and so on. Nuts and seeds are also good sources of protein as well as healthy fat and should be consumed frequently as well. Contrary to what often happens, all animal products should be consumed less frequently and in moderation. In particular, red and processed meat, which in case you don't know, are classified as probable or certain carcinogen respectively by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, should be limited to less than once per week. By looking at the food pyramid, you may even have noticed that the bulk of a healthy diet is in fact a plant-based diet, so there shouldn't be that much difference between a vegetarian or vegan diet and an omnivore diet. The fifth tip is to increase variety in your diet. Essentially, when you increase variety, you are less likely to have an unbalanced or unhealthy diet and more likely to have a good range of micronutrients such as vitamins and minerals. You can add variety in many different ways. For example, you can choose different types of vegetables, fruit, legumes, cereals. A good visual tip is to aim for many different colors in your meal, but also more in general during the week. Variety can be reached also by alternating different modalities or intensity of cooking. And this is because some micronutrients are absorbed better if the food they are included is raw or only lightly cooked, but others need more heating. So when you consume a good variety of colors, of food types, and you cook them in a variety of ways, then you're sure to be consuming a good range of all important nutrients. As I mentioned in the intro, I have a little bonus tip for you, and that is to enjoy your meal. We don't just eat to get nutrients, but also to get pleasure. And this is also valid when you want to eat more healthily. So try to make beautiful, tasty dishes. If your meals are often sad, ugly, and with no taste, like a bunch of boiled vegetables with no seasoning, then of course you will seek pleasure from those foods we should try to eat less often, like salty or sweet snacks. And of course, I'm not here to demonize any food. It is okay if you want to eat snacks every now and then. Usually we should try to stick to 1 or 2 times per week or less. But of course, in periods of intense stress, you may want to have a little treat more often, and that's usually not a problem. But what I'm suggesting is to make all your meal more enjoyable and not rely on only a few occasions to get pleasure from food. I totally understand that sometimes it's just not possible to follow this tip to the point. But I hope it's clear by now that you don't need to aim to perfection. You just need to follow this recommendation the majority of the time. Try to include this tip in your routine little by little, and then with time they will become second nature. If you want to learn how to approach lifestyle change with an easy and sustainable way, you can check this video. While if you want to learn why we should eat mostly whole food, you can check this other video here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know below which one is your favorite tip. That's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.